Hi there, hey there, ho there, we're as happy as can be. Another week, another session of 3-Ball Walk. We got Eddie, we got Bob, I'm Julio, in front of a live studio audience.
Yay. All right.
Hey, we're winding down.
An enthusiastic audience.
Yes.
You gotta like
Yes.
that. First time.
Yeah.
First time, and just decided to follow us. Still trying to get people to like us,
We need to get up to 6 or we're getting canceled.
Yeah.
so
Me
we're
six,
in
six
trouble.
of you.
We really want a 4th season. We got one of those 6 today.
I think
But
that's
he
3.
didn't view it. All he did was follow.
That's 3.
Like,
So we'll
that's
see if
3.
we get to 6.
We'll see if we can make it, you know.
10
Yeah.
would be better.
The 3 of us watch, and then we
Yeah.
need 3 more. Okay.
We don't count.
Oh, we don't care.
No.
No, it's going to be 6 separate. But that's not. You either watch it and get a friend to watch it
Well,
with
2
you.
weeks to go. We're winding it down.
Yep.
Only 2
And
weeks
the
left in the
Braves
major
look
league.
like they're going to be in the playoffs.
Well. You know,
broke out the
I got my
74.
74 Braves for Hank Aaron. I got it, but you know they have 9 games to go. They start with the Phillies tonight, 3 against the Phillies, 3 against the Mets, and then 3 more with the Phillies. So it's going to be interesting. The Braves control their destiny. The Braves can do it.
So the Phillies basically.
Wow. They play them 6 times and
6
only
times.
5.5 up.
Yeah. So the Braves have.
So the Phillies control their own destiny too.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
literally, if the Mets, it doesn't matter. If the Phillies win out, then they but the Phillies just can't lose any of those other games either. I mean,
Right.
But bottom line is,
gonna be-
you want to be where the Braves are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they had a
5.5.
4-game losing streak. They broke it
Snapped
last night.
Yeah.
You know, and the Cardinals kind of try to make a move, but it looks like. Do you agree with it? Looks like it's going to be the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Cubs, and whoever wins in the West. Or do you think a wild card can still come out of the West?
No, I think it's the Central's going to have the wild card in the National League.
Both of them.
Mm-hmm. I do. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what had the Dodgers last week at this time were a half game back, and now they're 2.
What did I tell you? I said the Diamondbacks and the Rockies had a chance to put them away
And didn't.
and didn't. And now
Yeah.
the Dodgers are coming on.
Yeah, you know, if you have a snake, if you got them down, you better cut the head off while you got them on the ground. Don't let them get up.
And then the Rockies now have lost 2 straight to the, and it flipped in 2 days. It
Yeah,
flipped.
2 days.
It can come right back. But Puig, have you seen that in his last 18 at bats? In his last 18 at bats, he's got 6 home runs.
Wow.
It was 17 at bats, 5 home runs, and they didn't start him yesterday.
Oh, he needed a day off.
So instead, he comes in and pinch hits in the 7th and hits the go-ahead
Yep.
3-run homer and a
Yep.
pinch hit job.
Yeah.
So maybe
Well,
maybe they know a little more
Yeah,
than we
we
do.
do. Yeah.
Why do you need him to go up there and go 1 for 4 when he can just go 1 for 1?
And that's
That's right.
exactly what he did.
That's right.
That's a lot better. 1 for 1 with a 3-run dinger is better
To win
than
the
1
game.
for 4 with a 3-run dinger. But if you win the game either way, doesn't really matter.
But Puig is
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah, he's hot.
Peterson is. I mean, I'm watching him. I don't know why people pitch him at his eyes because of the last 3 home runs he hit 2 the other night. Every one up in his eyes. I mean, they can just flat out hit.
When he goes through his practice swings, does he swing high with his practice swing?
Maybe that's what he does.
You know, that's what Don Drysdale used to say. I think it was Drysdale. One of the all-time great pitchers used to say, "I watch guys warm up because that tells me where they want the ball." That's their groove swing.
So you watch him in BP.
Oh, you watch them on deck when they're just swinging against the air. That's where they like the ball. And I've watched that. And if you watch, most guys will swing the bat where they really want to hit. Because I've talked to
We
guys.
talk
and
Major
say,
League Baseball. We talk stars, but education right here.
Right,
We give
right.
you everything. on
Everything.
3-Ball.
That's what we
Well,
use. Like our
there was. I used to throw batting practice for some guys, and
Where do you want it?
yeah, where do you want it, right? And then that's where they would be grooving. And one guy he was in Double-A when I was throwing batting practice to him, and he's like, "Well, I really want to work something down and in." So I threw him 14 pitches down and in. He hit 13 home runs in a row, and then missed on the 14th one, hit it off the top of the wall. So broke the streak. I'm like, dude, whenever you make the big leagues, I want to throw for you for home run derby.
Right,
but
sure.
he never made it. So he didn't. He bottomed out at AAA.
And the Dodgers too, you know, they play San Diego down the stretch, and they also face Arizona, and then they close out at San Francisco. So it's going to be interesting. I mean,
It'll be interesting, and I'll tell you,
much more interesting than the American League.
The Braves are already pretty much set in that number 3 spot, right?
They got the Braves.
No, but I'm
magic
saying in
number
that
is 5.
3 spot, they will travel to the number 2 first place finisher.
Yes.
And right now there's a battle between the Central and the West on which one's going to wind up with the best record. right?
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, I guess. How
I
many
mean, the
games are
Dodgers.
there?
What are the Dodgers' record compared to the Cubs?
The Dodgers are 85 and 68. The Cubs are 89 and 63.
And the
And
Braves.
the Braves are 84 and 68.
Oh, so the Braves could finish number 2.
the Braves could finish
They
two.
could finish 2.
Yeah,
But bottom line is the wild card is probably going to wind up playing
either the Braves or the Dodgers. No, they're going to end up playing.
either the West or the Central if it
right.
winds up
Yeah.
being the Cubs. The Cubs are opening it up on the Cardinals. The Cubs have been the hot team. We might want to have our Cubs special guest.
Jared?
Yeah, didn't he say he'd come in and talk Cubs?
Well, he would definitely come. He would definitely talk Cubs. I don't know if he would come in. I don't know if Jared would be willing to come in or not.
Okay,
So
we
we'll see.
can look at that. You know, it was kind of you're the connection, aren't you? Didn't you sit with Mr. Cub who won the World Series, Grandpa? You were with him last week.
A few weeks ago.
You know,
Yeah.
He's going to come in.
he wound up. Did you hear about this one? Talking to our studio audience out there, you know, goes to a Gator volleyball game up in Tallahassee, and
Not me. No.
who was it?
Zach.
Oh, it was Zach. It was our guest last
Yeah.
year, right?
Yeah.
It was Zach. He was our special guest last week. Zach went to the Gator volleyball game and sat right next to David Ross.
Yeah, which is known more for Dancing with the Stars than winning 2 World Series
Right.
on 2 teams that hadn't won in 100 years,
Yep.
Which is pretty
which
impressive.
is pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
pretty impressive.
So if the
Between
motive
the-
is if you're
Ross
on a team,
Ross or Epstein.
one could be cause, one could be coincidence. I'm not sure which way, but if you are on a team that has lost for 100 years, you want one of those 2 guys, and preferably both of them.
If you can get both,
If you
of
get
them.
both of them, you got a better shot at winning. So I would get both of them.
Snap it.
I would tell Ross just come sit in the bullpen, just because there's something about him.
or
I
in the
don't know.
booth on ESPN.
Yeah.
No, he's not as good there. I don't think.
No.
No, I think he's much better behind the plate.
So you had some complaints last night.
Oh, man, the ESPN's announcers blow. I mean, they're just terrible.
Whoa! Tell us how you really
They're
feel.
terrible. I mean, it's like, and they're so. Last night, maybe it was just me, but look, I don't care last night who won. It was just fun watching baseball. But they're so pro Boston. It's like, come on. I mean, it's like, you know, you don't need 3 people in the booth. 2 is perfect. You don't need 3. Vince Scully did it by himself towards the end of his career.
Is this a rant?
A little bit. It's just the ESPN's announcers. And I don't
Tim
say-
Kirchin is great
He
on the
is
sideline.
on the side. He's great. He does not belong in the booth.
Analysis, giving analysis,
Right,
breaking
right.
down stats.
That's great.
He's the best.
Right. Well, Tom Verducci's good, but I mean, but yeah, Tim Kirchin's great, but he does not need to be in the booth. I'm sorry. He
That
just
was your complaint last
That was
night.
your complaint.
Yes.
That
It's like,
Kirchin doesn't need to be in a booth.
yeah, no, he
But
does.
does Aaron Judge deserve to be on the field?
He did yesterday. He played pretty well, I thought. I mean, he got a hit.
And he's back.
And he's back.
The
And
team is 2 games over 500
Yep.
with him off the field. They're 30-something
30
games
something
over
over.
500
Yeah.
when he plays.
Well, yeah, it's a big bat in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah.
So yes, you would think that he would make a difference.
and he didn't really.
If not,
he didn't
you're
lift
paying
the
him a
ball.
lot of money.
You know, he hit the ball on the line
And
most last
Stanton's
night.
playing well.
Stanton's playing well.
The Cardinals, they were carried for about 2 weeks there by Ozuna.
Right.
Yelich is your MVP candidate.
Yep.
Could you imagine if you got those 3 guys on the same team?
I-
Yelich,
that-
Stanton, and Ozuna.
I remember that day. Those days.
Really?
That would be
that-
outstanding. I think it happened last year. You
It
got
did-
the 3 of them
and they
together.
didn't make the playoffs.
And they didn't make
No.
the playoffs.
No.
They
So
didn't
it
have
just
a pitcher.
goes to show you
Right.
that it's not about the 3 guys in the outfield.
It's not.
Is that what it is? That still burns me.
It's
They
the 3
literally
guys
got-
on the bump that
They got
make the
Starling
difference.
Castro, 3 bags of balls, and a couple used bats. That's all they have to show for those 3 guys.
I know. Nothing.
Well, you know,
And Derek
Jeter. No, Derek Jeter's he's the owner. So
Yeah.
there you go, Jeter. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, way to
You
go.
did great, and it's great watching those guys in all those uniforms. So Yelich.
But you can pay for a Double-A team to play in a major league ballpark. That's not bad if you're the Double-A guys.
And if you ever want a real good seat, you know where to
Plenty
go.
of open
Plenty of good
seats.
seats
Go to
available.
Miami.
Doesn't it really tick you off sometimes when you want to go watch a game and
You know
there's no
what's hilarious
seats
last
available?
night was
They don't have that problem in Miami.
Where do they ever have that problem?
during the Yankee game last night. Amy, we were watching the game. Amy goes, "Look behind," and on the wall it said "Single game seats, Yankee Stadium, starting from $10." I'm like, what's the apartment building across the street? I'm like, what
No.
seats are $10 at Yankee Stadium?
The upper balcony.
Yeah, for a balcony. Okay.
Yeah, you can get them for $10 in the corner
Okay.
Yeah.
I can
for
see.
certain games.
Right. Right. Not for last night's or for Boston Red Sox series. Or,
Probably not. No. You know, the early games when it's 32 degrees and snowing, You can probably walk up and buy one for $5.
They don't even let you move down for those games, probably. I mean,
No, they don't let you move down
At all?
anymore in the stadiums. There's no
Really?
moving down. No, yeah, they've got people at every turnstile, even in
All
Chicago.
the whole game.
The whole game, they stay there the whole game.
Game's done. They're
Man,
still checking your
I
ticket.
can remember buying tickets at Fulton County and going and getting there like in the first inning, and by the third, you're sitting in a box seat because nobody was there anyway, and they didn't care.
And see, I think that's part for my mini rant of the day. That's part of why baseball has lost some of its luster. That just because you have the seat, and we talk about that here at UF with stuff with softball and baseball. Just because you have the reserved seat, if you're not there by the third inning, somebody should be in your seat.
Right.
And if somebody wants to move down and get in your seat, fine. And then you show up, don't be mad that somebody's in your seat by the third inning when you weren't there. If you're not there by
Especially
the third
on TV,
inning,
it looks like people have more fun
Right.
when they're.
yeah,
Yeah.
When more people
totally
are
agree.
around, you get everybody in there. And if I come up and
We
you're
talk-
in my seat, excuse me, sir, this is my seat. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, can you get up? Yes, and they get up and they move. Everything's fine. But people get.
We were talking
all
about
upset.
that with Gator softball.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things that I
looks
just
on
move people
TV.
down
It looks
there.
like no one's there, and and the game's sold out.
I got news for you. I move people down. We don't have empty seats in my section. I'm sorry. I know that sounds like I'm the boss of my section, but we bring people in our section and put them there and tell them, hey, you might have to move if these people show up, but they're usually here by now and they're not here. So we usually know
And
who's
it's
showing up
only-
and who's not.
It's only right.
And if you don't, if you're not there by the third inning, you ought to give up your seat no matter where you are. I don't care what. If you go to the Yankees game and you have the seat right behind home plate and you don't show up for that game, somebody else ought to be able to sit in your seat.
I can remember we were in
In a Marlins jersey.
Whatever.
Orange Marlins
Orange
jersey.
Marlins
George
jersey.
Levy.
I was in Fulton County
Yeah.
one time against the Braves were losing to the Giants. This is the year Kevin Mitchell had his monster year, and we're in left field, and this stinks. Let's go down and sit by the dugout. So we moved down.
Yeah,
Mitchell
moved
came
down.
up and hit a home run. If I'd been sitting in my seat, it would have landed in my lap. It's like-
The best move I ever made was at a Sweet 16 tournament. Gators had the second game, and I went into the first game, and you're watching, and it was Memphis and UCLA, and I'm looking at all the people, and they got all the real rich seats, and I had gotten in for $5, and I'm sitting up in the rafters, and my theory was whoever loses this game isn't going to stick around to see who they're going to play on Saturday.
Because they're not playing.
And when the game ended, I knew where all the little Memphis groups were and whatever. They moved out. I moved down, and I sat like row 3 right at midcourt.
There you go. There
To
you
watch
go.
the Gators during a Sweet 16. But that's what. Hey, you know what? The TV people want that.
Sure,
want
they
to
don't
show
want empty seats, and you don't want empty seats. That's part of the deal. It's part of the reason why at UF, for instance, they didn't want to sell reserved seats for softball games and things like that because they don't want to have that empty seat syndrome. And they've had it for years in baseball. People buy the season tickets to go to 6
Well,
games
they're
a
cheap
year.
enough.
Yep,
They're
yep.
cheap enough where you can do that.
To 6 games
And
a year.
you're not going to be able to get those seats if you don't buy the season tickets.
Right, but then you just go. I mean, if you're not going to go, don't be mad when somebody else. And for the don't pitch a fit.
I
to
was
the ticket
actually
office.
talking about during softball season, so a few months back, I was talking to Scott Strickland exactly about that. He said, we need to incorporate something because it's something we've noticed. He said at Mississippi State, we sold softball tickets, but there was an understanding among you don't come out and publicize, go sit wherever you want. But the ushers were told after the first inning not to check for tickets anymore. And then people kind of know that, hey, I can move down because the ushers aren't going to be checking tickets, and it solves the problem.
Well, that's like I say, we take care of that ourselves. For
Well,
most
you
of the
bring
sections.
them on
bring 'em
down.
down.
Don't hesitate at all. And if
draw.
Usher
Okay,
says
part
something,
2, we are going to talk players. We're going to look at the MVP race in both leagues. We're going to look at Rookie of the Year in both leagues, Manager of the Year in both leagues, just different things. A lot of baseball. We're winding it down, and we're having some fun.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for our studio audience for being present.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, we forgot to thank our studio
I had a
audience.
question for him, but it's okay. He's leaving, so it's
Well,
okay.
we got time. We got 30 seconds.
When you go to the games, I mean, do you go to baseball games, Craig, or do you go to?
Yeah.
What do you think about when you see a stadium that's doesn't look full, but there's people there? What do you think?
Oh, it's an embarrassment. Oh, yeah, just sad. Need to fill in those seats.
Yep.
There you
That's
go.
what cruise ships do.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll let you on for $20 a night because we need the ship filled, and you're going to spend money gambling and
$20 is better than $0.
That's exactly
Hey,
right.
so we'll be right back, part 2, and we promise we won't have an empty seat.